6 acts of receiving is not another technique. It's not another set of steps. It's not another formula, if you will, that is going to make your life better. There's a lot of content out there that's like that, and it's brilliant. It really, really is. Speaking from experience, I've worked with some key mentors. I've worked with all different kinds of techniques. I've been coaching for close to 20 years, so there's always, a new tool that goes in my coaching toolbox, because one tool that works with one person might not necessarily work with another person, might not necessarily work with another person. In the course of those 20 years, what I found is it's not about the next technique. I know we'll probably redo that.
Remember,
it's not about the next technique. It's about, because that's what you're thinking about.
Right.
What 6 acts of receiving is it draws attention to how you're thinking about it.
Okay.
It's about a context. So you already have all the content of your life, right? You have the experiences that have informed you, the techniques that work for you, the different courses that you've taken, the disciplines that fuel your life on a daily basis and help you make sense out of the world. All this does is give a different context for it to help make that way easier.
Okay, excellent. That makes a lot of sense. So so basically what 6 acts of receiving is it something that facilitates the growth with what's already inside of you?
I would say that's accurate.
As opposed to, like you said, being another set of steps that adds to what's inside or tells you to do something differently.
Exactly. It's not about undoing what you already know or asking you to do something different.
Okay. That makes sense.
It literally is a way of looking at what already fuels your life. One of the things I want to share with you is that, and you really have an advantage, actually.
Really?
You do, as compared to a lot of the kinds of individuals who so far have worked with me. A lot of the individuals who've worked with me so far come from a certain context, if you will, and that's a context of personal growth and development. So there's a certain kind of lingo, there's a certain kind of way of interacting. It's like anything else, it's a little subculture.
Right, that makes sense.
The advantage that you have is that you haven't been there. The challenge and the opportunity that comes with this material is that people like yourself are coming at it fresh. You're coming at it from new perspectives. You're coming at it. And I'm finding that the people who struggle the most with this material are actually the people who are have been immersed, if you will, in this kind of material for years. Because there's kind of a typical modus operandi in terms of, this is how I achieve something, this is how I manifest something, this is what it needs to look like. Because especially for about the last probably 7 or 8 years, almost a decade now, there's been a whole push around what it means to manifest your dreams, what it means to create results, what it means to, and that has become, it's become a little elitist. It's become a little, it almost becomes, I don't know what the word is. I almost want to use the word entitlement, but it's like, if you have manifested X, Y, and Z in your life, that almost proves how spiritual you are.
Which puts you above somebody who has not yet manifested X, Y, and Z.
Exactly. It becomes hierarchical. It becomes a place of the haves and the have-nots. It becomes, in a very subtle way, and sometimes not so subtle way, it becomes its own polarity. But we do that. We do that as human beings. What is fresh and new and enlightening becomes the next routine.
Right. Right.
Okay? And so we do that. We fall into habits and we fall into patterns with it, and then that becomes the label of what is the norm.
Right. And I'll be honest, I'm coming at this from a place where, you know, all of those things that you're talking about, you know, when people start talking about, you know, manifesting their dreams and things like that, I tend to run the other way, screaming.
Oh yeah, that's why I love having this conversation with you, because you're the kind of person that I love having conversation with. Not, please hear me. It's not that I don't love having conversation with a lot of different kinds of people,
course.
But
it's a different perspective.
But it's because your perspective is coming from a place of exploring something that you don't know yet. And a lot of individuals no, I'm not going to say that because that's far too judgmental. Humanity is wired to repeat. Okay, we love the fact that a lot of our habits, a lot of the ways that we do things become habitual.
Right.
It's the difference between me putting my arm in my pant leg when I get up in the morning.
Right.
Right? As a child, we do that because we're still learning. This is what pants look like. This is what a shirt looks like. But when we're older, we're grateful that we've relegated that, because now we don't even think about what we wear in the morning, you know, when we get up in the morning, because our mind is now freed up to look at other things, to do other things. Part of what 6 acts of receiving is about is it's about opening yourself up to what you don't know yet. The definition of an act of receiving is that it's a use of the will to increase your availability to what it is that you don't know yet. That's what makes receiving a joy.
Absolutely.
When we receive something that's a surprise, or we receive something that is a drawing from a child, we receive that with a degree of innocence, with a degree of welcoming, with a degree of fun. And we don't tell the child, sorry, horses aren't pink. Do we? We just receive it because it's a gift. We receive it in the moment. We don't try to make it conform to what it is that we know and the way the real world is.
That makes sense.
And a lot of us, and me included, I mean, that's why I do this, is because more and more, the more I dive into this, the more I realize for myself what it is I don't allow myself to receive. Because I'm hanging out in what I already know too much. I'm not allowing myself to be in the moment. I'm coming from the space of replicating what I know because it's safe, it's comfortable, it's familiar. And the most joy I've had in the last 2-3 years of my life has been allowing myself to follow the signals and do things and see things and entertain things that I never before believed even possible.